Story 1. The realtor handed us the keys and smiled like someone who'd just sold his soul for a commission. "This beauty is priced to move," he said. "She's just old, that's all. Nothing a little love won't fix." Maya squeezed my hand. We were 27 months married, broke, and stupid with hope. A 20-room Victorian in the city for less than a one-bedroom condo? We signed the papers before the ink had time to feel guilty. That first night we carried pizza and a bottle of cheap wine through the front door, laughing at how our voices echoed. The house smelled of dust and roses left too long in a vase. We picked the master bedroom on the second floor because it had the biggest window and a fireplace that looked romantic in the flashlight beam. We fell asleep tangled in each other, drunk on wine and new beginnings. I woke up choking. The room had changed. Heavy velvet drapes I'd never seen hung over the windows. The air was thick with a sweet, metallic smell, blood and lilacs. A woman stood at the foot of the bed in a long white nightgown. Her back was to us. Moonlight cut across the floor and showed the dark stain spreading from her throat down the front of the cloth. She turned slowly. Half her face was gone. Maya screamed beside me, but the scream came out wrong, like it belonged to someone else, someone who'd been screaming for 35 years. The woman lifted a straight razor that caught the moonlight and walked toward us. Then the room snapped back. Plain walls, our sleeping bags, pizza box on the floor. My heart hammered so hard I thought it would crack a rib. Maya was shaking. "Lucas, there was a woman. I saw her." We didn't sleep again. At dawn, we explored the house like burglars in our own home. In the kitchen, we found green floral wallpaper and an old gas oven hissing softly. The room stank of bitter almonds. A chair lay on its side. On the table sat a single teacup and a note in spidery handwriting. "I'm sorry, darling, the world is too loud." A man in a brown suit hung from the pantry door, face purple, shoes barely brushing the tiles. When Maya stepped forward, the body swung gently, shoes squeaking, and the smell of gas rolled over us until we gagged and ran. Every room was worse. The nursery on the third floor had a rocking horse that rocked by itself. A mobile of wooden stars spun above an empty crib while a baby cried and never ran out of breath. The wallpaper showed faded circus animals marching in a circle forever. We found tiny scratches inside the closet door, hundreds of them, as if something small had tried to dig its way out for decades. By the third night, we understood the pattern. At exactly 2:14 a.m., the house chose a room and replayed the worst moment that ever happened inside it, and we were forced to stand in the scene like understudies who'd forgotten their lines. The fourth night, it picked the master bedroom again. This time, the woman with the slashed throat wasn't alone. A man stood over her, tall, handsome, drunk with rage, holding the same razor. He kept saying, "You made me do this, Eleanor. You made me." Blood dripped from the blade onto the carpet in thick, slow drops. The woman looked straight at Maya and mouthed, "Help me." Maya's nightgown turned white, long, old-fashioned. I watched in horror as the front of it bloomed red. She clutched her throat, and real blood, warm, wet, ours, seeped between her fingers. I felt the razor appear in my own hand, heavy and certain. My arm lifted without my permission. I fought it. I screamed inside my head, "This isn't me. This isn't us." But the house pressed down like a thumb on an insect. I saw Maya's eyes widen as the blade came toward her. I dropped the razor. It hit the floor and became a TV remote again. The room flickered back to normal. Maya fell against me sobbing, blood still dripping from a cut that closed the moment the scene ended. Each replay left souvenirs. A rope burn around my wrist from the man who hanged himself in the attic. A burn on Maya's palm from the little girl who died reaching for a candle in 1942. The house was rewriting us, one death at a time. On the seventh night, we tried to leave. The front door opened onto the hallway. The back door opened onto the pantry. Windows showed the street but wouldn't let us through. We were scenery now. Tonight, the bedroom clock just struck 2:13 a.m. The velvet drapes are already sliding across the windows by themselves. I can smell lilacs and blood. Maya is beside me in the white nightgown again, throat already red. My hand is rising. The house needs the memory to stay sharp. It's been waiting 35 years for a couple young enough, in love enough, desperate enough to play the parts perfectly. I'm sorry, Maya, the razor is cold. It's time. Story 2. They say the best deals hide in plain sight. I should have known better when the listing popped up at 3:07 a.m. 4 floors, marble fireplaces, original parquet, center of the city, $800 a month. The photos looked like someone had dusted a museum and called it home. The contract was 1 page. 1 single page. I laughed, signed it with my finger on the phone screen, and hit send before Elena could talk me out of it. We moved in the next afternoon with 2 suitcases and the kids buzzing like it was Christmas. Milo ran straight up the grand staircase yelling that he'd claimed the attic. Sophia rolled her eyes but couldn't hide her smile. The house smelled faintly of lemon polish and something coppery underneath. We toasted with paper cups of cheap sparkling wine. To new beginnings, Elena said. The front door shut by itself behind us. The click sounded final, like a judge's gavel. That night, I tried the door just to be funny. The knob turned, the door opened, and I stared at fresh red brick where the porch should have been. I laughed it off. Old houses, warped frames, whatever. But every door did the same. Windows showed traffic and people walking dogs. Yet when I pressed my palm to the glass, it was only painted wall, cool and smooth. We called the realtor, straight to voicemail. We called 911. 2 officers came, bored faces, rang the bell from the street. We screamed through the mail slot. They looked right at us, smiled, waved like we were old friends, and left. By the 3rd morning, we understood time was broken. Outside, the sun rose and set in fast forward, like someone hitting fast forward on the world. Inside, the clocks barely crawled. A week out there was one slow day for us. Then the aging started. Milo stayed 8. Exactly 8. His sneakers still fit perfectly. His voice never cracked. The gap where he lost a front tooth never closed. He thought it was cool at first. Then he watched Sophia's hair go gray overnight. Sophia woke up 16. By dinner, she looked 40. By the next breakfast, she was 70, skin papery, knuckles swollen. She cried without sound because her voice had thinned to a whisper. Elena and I stayed 34, like someone had pinned us to that age with invisible pins. We searched for a way out. Every door, every window, every vent, brick, plaster, glass that wasn't glass. Milo found the lease rolled up in a drawer. 1 page, same as before, but now the ink had turned dark brown and flaked when you touched it. At the bottom, in handwriting that definitely wasn't mine, occupancy eternal. No expiration. Sophia stopped walking. We carried her to the parlor and laid her on the velvet sofa. She weighed almost nothing. Her eyes stayed young and terrified inside the old face. Elena began talking to the house, soft, pleading. "We'll pay whatever you want. Just let the children go." The chandelier tinkled like laughter. Milo started drawing on the walls with crayons he'd had since kindergarten. Stick figure family, sun with a smile, a door standing open. Every morning the drawings were gone, walls clean again. He never cried. 8-year-olds think the world will fix itself if they're patient enough. Last night, or last month, or last year, who knows, Elena found gray in my beard. Just 1 strand, but it was new, the first change in me. She pulled it out and stared at it like it was a death sentence. We sit together now in the dining room. Sophia sleeps most of the time, breathing shallow. Milo colors the same picture over and over. Elena holds my hand so tight my fingers are numb. Outside, seasons blur past the fake windows. Cherry blossoms, green leaves, orange, snow, repeat. Inside, the clocks tick once per day. I keep the lease on the table in front of me. The brown ink has spread. The whole page looks wet now. I think it's waiting for the rest of us to finish signing in blood we haven't spilled yet. Milo just tugged my sleeve. "Daddy, when can we go home soon?" I started to answer, but my voice cracked like a teenager's. For the first time in forever, it cracked. The house heard it. Somewhere upstairs, a door I've never seen creaked open. It's patient. It has all the time in the world. And now, so do we. Story 3. They say if a house looks too perfect in the photos, run. I didn't listen. The listing appeared on my phone at midnight. Greek Revival townhouse, 4 floors, crown molding, original marble mantles, $800 a month. The pictures were so sharp, I could almost smell the lemon oil. The contract was 1 page, 1. I laughed, typed Marcus and Elena Rivera plus 2 kids, signed with my thumb, and fell asleep, grinning. We pulled up the next day with a U-Haul and 2 hyper children. Milo, 8 years old and all knees, bolted inside first. Sophia, 16 and pretending she was too cool, still gasped at the staircase that curved like a full circle. Elena kissed me on the cheek. "You're a genius," she whispered. The front door closed behind us with a soft, polite click. That night, I tried the door for fun. It opened onto fresh brick. Same with the back door. Same with every window. Outside, the city kept moving normally. Inside, my knuckles met painted plaster. We laughed it off as a prank. Kids these days, right? By morning, the realtor's number was dead. 911 sent 2 cops who rang the bell, looked straight at us screaming behind the glass, smiled, waved like we were waving back, and left. Time broke next. Outside, the sun raced across the sky like someone hitting fast forward. Inside, our watches crawled. 1 week out, there was 1 long afternoon for us. Milo thought it was awesome. Sophia filmed it for TikTok until her phone battery never dropped below 97%. Then the kids changed. Milo stayed 8, exactly 8. His shoes still fit. His voice stayed high and piping. He lost the same front tooth 3 times. It grew back every morning. Sophia woke up with gray streaks. By dinner, her hands were spotted and thin. By the next breakfast, she looked 80. She sat on the window seats she could no longer climb onto, staring at a street she could see but never touch again. Her voice thinned to paper. "Dad, I'm scared," she whispered, and it sounded like wind through dead leaves. Elena and I stayed 34. Not a new wrinkle, not a gray hair. The house kept us perfect, like dolls on a shelf. We found the lease again in the kitchen drawer, same single page, but now the ink was dark brown and flaked when you touched it. At the bottom, new words had appeared in handwriting that looked wet: occupancy permanent, balance due, forever. Sophia stopped eating. We carried her to the parlor sofa that smelled of dust and roses. She weighed nothing. Milo drew pictures on the walls: stick figure family under a yellow sun, a big red door standing open. Every morning, the walls were clean again. He never cried. 8-year-olds believe tomorrow fixes everything. Last night, Elena found the first gray hair on my head. Just one. She pulled it out and stared at it like it was poison. Then she smiled, small, terrible. "It's starting with you now," she said. We sit in the dining room now. The chandelier never sways. Outside, seasons spin. Blossoms, green, gold, snow, blossoms again. Inside, the grandfather clock ticks once every real day. Milo is coloring the same picture he's colored for what might be years. Sophia sleeps 23 hours, breathing like tissue paper. Elena holds my hand so hard I can't feel my fingers anymore. I keep the lease on the table. The brown ink has spread across the whole page now. It looks warm. Milo just looked up from his drawing. "Daddy, when do we get to go outside and play?" My throat closed. For the first time in forever, my voice cracked like I was 13 again. Somewhere upstairs, a door I've never noticed creaked open slowly. The house is patient. It has all the time in the world. And now, so do we. Story 4. The old woman pressed the key into my hand like it weighed 100 pounds. "Mind the mirrors," she said, eyes watery but sharp. "They get ideas when the house is empty too long." I laughed. Celeste laughed. We were 26, engaged and broke. Free rent in a Gothic mansion for 6 weeks sounded like a fairy tale. We arrived at dusk. The place had 37 rooms, black marble floors, and mirrors everywhere. Tall ones, small ones, cracked ones, gold-framed ones. Every surface threw our reflection back at us, smiling like it knew something we didn't. That first night we made love in the master bedroom, under a canopy the size of a ship's sails. Afterward, Celeste went to brush her teeth. She screamed. In the bathroom mirror, she wasn't there. Instead, she saw herself still lying in bed beside me, eyes open, staring at the ceiling. I ran in. The real Celeste stood right in front of the glass, but the mirror showed her in bed, unmoving. We told ourselves it was a trick of light. By morning, the mirrors were one step ahead. We walked into the kitchen hungry. The mirror over the sink already showed us sitting at the table, eating pancakes we hadn't made yet. Syrup dripped from chins that were still clean. 10 minutes later, we felt our stomachs growl, and we cooked exactly those pancakes. Same plates, same burnt edges. It was funny for a day. Then it turned mean. Tuesday, we watched ourselves in the long hallway mirror having a screaming fight about wedding costs we hadn't even discussed yet. Celeste's reflection slapped mine. My reflection called hers selfish. We stood in the real hallway holding hands, hearts racing, promising each other we'd never say those words. We lied. 3 nights later, we said every single one. The mirrors stopped waiting for us. They started inventing. We saw ourselves dragging suitcases to the front door, faces blank like sleepwalkers. We watched ourselves hammer boards across every window from the inside. Worst was the ballroom mirror. Our reflections stood on chairs, slipping thick ropes over their necks, kicking the chairs away in perfect unison. Their feet twitched. Their faces went purple. We smashed that mirror. The pieces kept showing the hanging bodies until we swept them into a trash bag and buried it in the garden. It didn't help. The ropes came anyway. Last night we woke at 3:14 a.m. with the feeling of rough cord biting our throats. Nothing was there, but we couldn't breathe. We clawed at empty air while our lungs burned. Celeste's eyes bulged. My vision tunneled. Then it stopped as suddenly as it started. We lay gasping, necks red and raw. This morning, every mirror is empty. We walk from room to room and see only wallpaper and dust. No Jonah, no Celeste, just the furniture and shadows. We know what that means. The versions in the glass finished the story. They packed, they boarded the house, they hanged themselves so the loop would be perfect. Now the mirrors are waiting for the real us to catch up, step by step, exactly the way they already did it. We're sitting in the ballroom now. 2 chairs wait under the chandelier. 2 ropes hang from the ceiling, swaying though there's no wind. They look soft, almost kind. Celeste is holding my hand. Her fingers are ice. "I don't want to fight about money," she whispers. "I don't want to hang," I answer. But our feet are already walking toward the chairs. We feel the pull like invisible hands on our shoulders. The ropes lift themselves, eager. The house has been empty too long. It needs its mirrors full again. We're almost there. Just one more step. Story 5. The old lady handed me the key and whispered, "Don't trust the mirrors when the house gets lonely." I thought she was senile. Celeste giggled. We were getting paid to live in a castle for 6 weeks, while the owners cruised Europe. Who cares about a few spooky mirrors? We stepped inside and the door shut like someone polite saying goodnight. The place was huge, cold, beautiful, mirrors everywhere, tall ones in gold frames, Small ones over fireplaces, one whole wall in the ballroom made of glass. Every time we passed, we saw ourselves smiling back, only a little wrong. First night, Celeste went to the bathroom. She came back white. "My reflection is still in bed," she said. "It's just lying there, staring at the ceiling." I looked. Sure enough, the bedroom mirror showed her tucked under the covers, while the real Celeste stood right in front of it. We laughed it off. Old glass, weird angles. Next morning, we walked into the kitchen hungry. The mirror above the stove already showed us eating toast and eggs. 10 minutes later, our stomachs growled and we made exactly that breakfast. Same burnt corners, same 2 plates. It kept happening. We'd see ourselves laughing in the library an hour before we felt happy. We'd watch ourselves crying in the hallway the day before the credit card bill came. Then the mirrors stopped waiting. One afternoon, the long mirror in the foyer showed us dragging suitcases to the front door, faces blank like zombies. We hadn't packed a thing. That night, we found nails and boards in the basement and, without talking about it, started covering the windows from the inside. Our hands did it while our minds screamed no. The worst was the ballroom. The giant mirror there showed Jonah and Celeste, us, standing on chairs, slipping thick ropes around our necks. They kicked the chairs away together. Their legs jerked. Tongues turned purple. We screamed and smashed the mirror with a poker. 1,000 pieces fell, and every piece still showed our bodies swinging. We swept the glass into bags and buried them under the rose bushes. Didn't matter. Last night we woke up choking. Invisible rope bit into my throat. I felt the knot behind my ear, the burn, the drop. Celeste clawed at her neck beside me, eyes popping. Nothing was there, but we couldn't breathe. We thrashed until our nails drew blood, then it let go. We lay gasping, skin raw, bruises blooming like purple necklaces. This morning, every mirror in the house is empty. We walk past them and see only dusty wallpaper and cobwebs. No Jonah, no Celeste. We know what that means. The versions in the glass already finished the story. They packed, they boarded the house, they hanged themselves so the picture would be perfect forever. Now the mirrors are waiting for the slow, real us to catch up. We're in the ballroom right now. 2 wooden chairs stand under the chandelier. 2 brand new ropes hang down, swaying gently even though the air is still. They look soft, almost friendly. Celeste is crying quietly. "I don't want to die like this," she says. "I don't either," I answer. But our feet are moving anyway. One step, another, like someone else is wearing our bodies. The ropes lift themselves a little, eager. The house has been empty too long. It misses its reflections. We're almost to the chairs. Just one more step. Story 6. The auctioneer said sold, and the gavel sounded like a bone snapping. We got widow's watch for $63,000, a rotting 4-story monster everyone else was scared to touch. Perfect clickbait. We bought the city's most haunted flip, 200K views on the trailer alone. Me, Ryan, Jess, and our 15-year-old twins Ava and Ethan waved at the camera like we'd won the lottery. Day 1, we danced in the foyer with hard hats and sledgehammers. "Let's go viral, baby!" The first change happened the same afternoon. We knocked out a wall in the dining room that wasn't supposed to be load-bearing. Dust everywhere, cheers, high fives. That night I couldn't stand up straight. My back folded like wet cardboard. X-rays later showed 3 vertebrae crushed to powder. Doctor said it looked like a building had fallen on me. I laughed until I realized the wall we removed had been holding up the whole 2nd floor. Jess wanted to paint the parlor lavender, soft, trendy, good for thumbnails. She rolled the first coat herself. By evening, her arms were mapped with purple veins, glowing lavender lines under the skin, like someone had replaced her blood vessels with colored light. She poked one with a needle. Purple paint oozed out. The twins thought it was cool and sanded the grand staircase banister for their own video. Smooth as glass in an hour. That night they stared at their hands in horror. every fingerprint gone. Just blank skin where the ridges used to be. No prints at the police station, no prints on their phones, no prints anywhere ever again. They're ghosts to every scanner on Earth now. We should have stopped, we didn't. New countertop in the kitchen? Ethan's teeth turned the exact same granite gray and became so heavy he couldn't close his mouth. Stainless steel backsplash? Ava's fingernails grew into thin metal sheets that clinked when she typed. We tore out the old cast iron radiators to open the space. Jess's bones went cold and heavy, like someone filled them with iron. She moves slow now, creaking when she walks. The more we tried to fix the house, the more it fixed us. One morning, I ripped up the rotten porch boards to replace them with composite decking. My skin peeled away in long wooden strips. Underneath was fresh pink meat, but the strips curled on the ground like bark. Jess screamed and tried to tape me back together. The tape stuck to splinters. We finally understood. The house doesn't want saving. Every repair we make, it makes on us. Permanent. Irreversible. We stopped filming. Stopped fixing. Sat in the dark rooms and let dust settle. But the house hates stillness. Lights flicker when we do nothing. Doors slam. Tools appear in our hands while we sleep. Yesterday, I woke up holding a paint roller dripping black. The ceiling above me was freshly coated, and black tar ran in slow rivers under the skin of my forearms. Tonight, the twins came downstairs crying. Their eyes had turned into small round security cameras, red lights blinking. They can't close them anymore. They see everything in night vision. Jess is in the kitchen whispering to the walls, "We'll let you rot. We promise. Just stop." The walls answer by dropping plaster like dandruff. I'm writing this on the only phone that still works, sitting on the staircase we sanded smooth. My spine is mostly gone now. I'm propped against the banister like a puppet with cut strings. The wood feels warm, almost proud. Upstairs, hammers are banging by themselves. Saws whine. Someone, something, is still renovating. The house won't let itself fall apart while we're alive to try again tomorrow. And we can't leave. Every door we open shows the next room of the same house. Forever. The only way to stop the fixing is to stop existing. I can hear Jess walking toward me, slow metal bones clanking. She's carrying the drop cloths and the rope we bought for the porch swing we never hung. The twins follow, red camera eyes glowing in the dark. We're going to let the house win. We're going to let it finish the job. One last renovation, starting with us. For more stories like this, share and subscribe Goofy Horror.